Hello everyone, and welcome back to Whispers of Turkish Stars. Today we're diving into a topic that has kept timelines buzzing and fan hearts pounding, the real story behind Gökberk Yıldırım and Cemre Arda. You've asked for clarity, you've sent us your theories, and tonight we're laying out everything we know, everything we've observed, and everything that just might be on the verge of becoming official. If you're new here and you love living on the edge of showbiz secrets, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss a moment. We bring you the whispers, the looks, the clues, and the truth one beat at a time. Let's start at the beginning, because that's where the magic first took hold. The story of Gökberk Yıldırım and Cemre Arda didn't start as a love story, at least not an acknowledged one. It began in the glow of studio lights, in late-night rehearsals, in perfectly framed scenes that made millions of viewers hold their breath. Mesasir was the spark, and the chemistry between them was aflame from the very first day. They carried Yaman and Mira like they were born to live inside those roles, the glances, the tension, the unspoken tenderness that felt too lived in to be staged. Audiences didn't just watch Yaman and Mira, they believed in them. They rooted for them. And soon, they started rooting for Gökberk and Cemre. What followed became a pattern familiar to anyone who's ever watched two stars orbit the same sun. A photo here, a shared laugh there. A private joke caught between takes. Appearances that seemed coincidental but not quite. The internet did what it always does, it clipped, it cropped, it magnified. A like on a post became a hint. A hug at a premiere was suddenly a confession. They never said the words, but the world knew how to read the air. Still, real life is messier than a script. The years rolled on, and the murmur turned to a roar, then back to a whisper. Some said they were together. Some said they were simply friends who had found a rare creative rhythm. Some pointed at other names, other stories, other distractions. Every red carpet was a referendum. Every interview was a landmine. Every time they stood within reach of each other, the press inhaled as one. There were moments that felt like an almost yes. A dinner that went on longer than expected. A trip that overlapped just enough to look suspicious. A gaze, a hand on an arm, a soft laugh that didn't sound like acting. And then came the lines we all knew by heart: we care for each other very much as friends. Those words that felt polite on the surface and complicated underneath. Gökberk's instinct has always been to draw a firm line around his private life. He moves carefully, stays composed, and lets his work do the loudest talking. Cemre, radiant and warm, has always navigated attention with grace, open enough to keep fans close, guarded enough to protect what matters most. Together, their balance created a quiet code. Don't say it. Let it be felt. And then, as these things go, the weather changed. Work schedules thickened. Paparazzi moved on to fresh obsessions. The spotlight leaned away. Some fans said the distance meant an ending. Others believed it meant they were choosing themselves, choosing peace, choosing whatever was real and possible on their own terms. Maybe the truth is that both things can be true. Maybe sometimes love is there, and timing isn't. Maybe sometimes it simply goes quiet. But the reason you're here, the reason everyone is here, is because something has shifted again. A new murmur has entered the room. Sources close to the pair, industry whispers, and the unmistakable rhythm of their recent choices all line up to suggest the same thing, that Gökberk Yıldırım and Cemre Arda are ready to step into the open together. Not with fanfare or spectacle, but with intention. That what began in the glow of set lights grew roots away from cameras. That the talk of a deepening commitment isn't just talk anymore. What does it mean when two people like this decide to reveal the truth? In this industry, truth can be a performance all its own, but there's a different energy this time. We've seen subtle signals stacking up, a shared song in a story, a carefully chosen caption that echoed a line from Mesasir, a photograph that wasn't staged for the press but still made the rounds, two silhouettes on a balcony at dusk, the kind of frame people save because it feels like a memory they want to keep. And then there are the more concrete breadcrumbs. Word of a long lunch with their teams. A stylist who mistakenly tagged both of them in the same behind-the-scenes reel. A family gathering rumor that refuses to die down, mentioning warm introductions and toasts that lasted longer than the meal. Some say there is an exclusive in the works with a major glossy Turkey is on everyone's lips, while others insist they will make a quiet, joint appearance at a major event, where one shared look will do more than a press release ever could. We should talk about what this could mean, not for the headlines, but for them. If they confirm they're together, it could anchor their lives in a way that frees them to create with fewer distractions. It could open a new chapter of honesty with their audience, who have cheered for them as Yaman and Mira, and for themselves as singular talents. It could validate the belief that what we saw on screen was tapping into something genuine. Fans love a full-circle moment, and what could be more full-circle than the couple who taught a nation to swoon as Yaman and Mira finding something lasting beyond the storylines that made them famous? Still, caution is wise. In the world of celebrity, timing is currency. Narratives are curated. Sometimes a revelation is a way to relieve pressure, to make the noise manageable. Sometimes it's a strategy. But these are two people known for a certain steadiness, a certain refusal to be rushed. If they are choosing to stand together now, it likely isn't for convenience. It's because they're ready. Let's rewind for a moment, because memory matters here. Think of the interviews where they were asked about each other, that small flicker of pride in their answers. Think of the nights they were photographed at opposite ends of a room and still felt like a single frame. Think of the support they showed. Even when projects took them in different directions, even when fans asked more than they were willing to give. There is a generosity in the way they have handled the public's curiosity, never mocking it, never exploiting it, simply respecting the audience's love for the story while protecting the parts they needed to keep. Now the speculation has leapt one step further, whispers of long-term plans, of a shared home base, of calendars that will bend to make space for real life. Some say a ring is already chosen. Some say families have gently, quietly blended dinners that end with laughter, inside jokes, and the soft reality of people who no longer have anything to prove. And yet, let's be clear, until we hear it from them, these are tides, not landmarks. You know the question that keeps getting asked, will they confirm at last? Will we see the day they walk into a room side by side, with no nervous laughter, no coy evasions, no need to redirect the question? The latest talk points to yes. To a moment soon where the subtext becomes text. To a decision made not out of pressure, but relief, because there is a kind of peace in calling something by its name. And when that day comes, the implications will ripple in every direction. Their fan bases, fiercely loyal, fiercely protective, will find new ground to stand on. Casting directors will think differently about what kinds of stories they can now tell together again. There will be nostalgia, of course. Yaman and Mira never really left the collective imagination, but there will also be something beautifully current, beautifully adult, about two people who have weathered the slow turn of rumor and chosen each other anyway. We should also talk about just how carefully they have guarded their boundaries. Gökberk has always treated his off-screen life like a sacred space. It is not a curtain to be thrown open on demand. That makes any moment of openness from him feel significant. Cemre, while luminous and engaged, has learned the art of the elegant yes and the graceful no. Their temperaments don't clash, they complete the picture. The result is a partnership that, if truly stepping into the light now, will do so with dignity. That's why expectations feel so alive, and yet so tender. There's a version of this story that ends with a magazine cover. There's another that ends with a soft, beautifully framed photo, posted without a caption, in which their hands say everything. And then there's the version we might be seeing forming right now, a quiet confirmation, an interview where they take their time, where the room is bright but not blinding, where they talk about patience, about trust, about the difference between being written for and writing for themselves. Perhaps Turkey picks it up. Perhaps it is an event. The kind of gala where the guest list is longer than the night and the cameras never blink. However it happens, one truth is constant: this moment would belong to them because they waited for it. So what are we left with tonight? A thread that has woven through years of speculation, tightened by shared work, loosened by distance, strengthened by time. A pair of artists who created something unforgettable as Yaman and Mira, and who may now be ready to live the part everyone hoped was real, but in their own way, with their own timing. Rumors of a future, together. Plans that look less like conjecture and more like decisions. A promise that, if spoken aloud, will feel less like a surprise and more like a homecoming. To everyone who has watched this unfold, who has defended them, who has argued on late-night timelines, who has made edits and playlists and kept faith in the soft, steady possibility of them, this is your moment to inhale. To hold. To wait for the sentence that confirms what your instincts told you long ago. We'll be right here, watching the signs with you. We'll comb through the hints without losing the heart of the story. We'll respect their silence if it holds a little longer, and we'll celebrate their voice if they choose to use it now. The story is theirs. The love, if this is what we think it is theirs. But the wonder, the giddy anticipation, the joy of being this close to a reveal, that belongs to all of us who followed every beat. And that brings us to you. Do you believe the tide has finally turned? Do you think Gökberk, Yıldırım and Cemre Arda are ready to confirm what's been quietly growing for years? How do you picture it, an exclusive, a red carpet, a simple post that says nothing but means everything? Tell us your theories below. We read them all. We argue among ourselves. We cheer for your best guesses. This community was built on moments like this, and we're thrilled to be here with you now. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more stories told with care, heart, and just the right amount of spice, don't forget to like this video, share it with the friend who still replays those Yaman and Mira scenes, and subscribe to Whispers of Turkish Stars. Turn on notifications so you never miss the second when whispers become confirmations. Thank you for watching, thank you for believing, and we'll see you in the next one where the truth might finally step into the light.